Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to Guns N' Roses Central. And as we're starting to close out a lot of these Guns N' Roses True Story episodes, we're down to our final three songs, which of course are Paradise City, Welcome to the Jungle, and Sweet Child of Mine. Today we're talking about Paradise City from their album Appetite for Destruction. So the song was also included on their Live Era album, which came out in 1999. The performance from Live Era is taken from a concert that Guns did in Las Vegas in early 1992, the same concert which you guys may have seen Guns N' Roses perform yesterday's at one of the American Music Awards as well. And it was also the same concert where Slash met his second wife Perla. The song was also included on the Greatest Hits album, which came out in 2004. Now, Paradise City was written by Axl, Slash, Duff, and Izzy. Now, this song is probably one of my favorite Guns N' Roses songs, and it was actually released as a single in November of 1988, and it's the only song on Appetite for Destruction to feature a synthesizer. So it's also known for its iconic lyrics, "Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty." It's also frequently played at sports stadiums during sports games, along with Welcome to the Jungle, which is of course also from Appetite for Destruction. So the song peaked at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it's the band's third single to reach the top 10 in the US and number 6 on the UK singles charts. So guitarist Slash states that the song was written in the back of a rental van as the band was on their way back from playing a gig in San Francisco with the band Rockin' Riders. Now, he said the band was in the back of a van drinking and playing acoustic guitars when he came up with the intro. Duff McKagan and Izzy Stradlin started playing along, and Slash started humming a melody when Axl Rose sang. "Take me down to the Paradise City." Slash chimed in with "Where the grass is green and the girls are pretty." Rose sang the first line where Slash shouted out "Where the girls are fat and they got big titties." Rose finished with "Take me home." So Slash preferred the second line, but the rest of the band felt differently. He was outvoted and they used the first line. So the band then expanded upon the rest of the lyrics in rounds. So finally Slash wrapped up by coming up with the heavy riff that drives the song. So during a 1988 interview with Hit Parader magazine, Axl told them that the verses are more about being in the jungle, the chorus is like being back in the Midwest or somewhere. And the song was often used as a show-closing song during the Appetite for Destruction tour, the Use Your Illusion tour, the Chinese Democracy tour, and of course the Not in This Lifetime tour as well. And for me, I think it's the perfect song to end any kind of concert with. And it was ranked on VH1's 40 Greatest Metal Songs of All Time list. They ranked it as number 21, and was ranked number 3 in Total Guitar Magazine's list of 100 Greatest Solos of All Time, and has won numerous similar awards over the years. Rolling Stone ranked the song as number 453rd on the 500 Greatest Songs of All Time, and Slash has even stated in interviews that Paradise City is his favorite Guns N' Roses song. So the last 2 minutes of the song changes to double time, and the chorus is repeated several times while Slash plays a guitar solo in the background. Guitarist Andy McCoy from Hanoi Rocks basically claimed that the song is copied from several riffs written by the band. He said that the chorus is just a slower version of the riff in Lost in the City, and of course Axl and the rest of Guns N' Roses have always cited Hanoi Rocks as one of the band's biggest influences. And even in the music video for Paradise City, Hanoi Rocks' original rhythm guitarist Nasty Suicide can be seen in the music video. Now, the style of the main riff of Paradise City, involving the ascending chromatic riff, has also been used by many former Guns N' Roses members in new projects. So the best examples of this are the Izzy Stradlin song Bomb and Velvet Revolver song Do It For The Kids. Now, according to Tracy Guns of LA Guns, and of course former member of Guns N' Roses, the riff was influenced by the Black Sabbath song Zero the Hero from the Born Again album. So I've linked to all these songs down below in the description box for you guys to check out. In an interview that Slash did with Guitar Edge magazine in 2007, he said, "We had a manager, Vicky Hamilton, courting us at that time, and she gave us a ride to San Francisco to play a gig with Jet Boy." Slash is probably mistaken. No known San Francisco gig actually took place prior to the debut of Paradise City in October of 1985. So while heading back in the van, we started writing Paradise City. It started off with basic chords and then the melody, and I remember writing the words. Originally it was "Take me down to the Paradise City where the girls are fat and they got big titties," which was changed into "Where the grass is green and the girls are pretty." The synth didn't come on until Axl was putting the vocals down on the record, so I had no idea about that until we got into the mixing stage. All of a sudden there was that part. Being the guitar purists that we were, Izzy and I were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But Axl won that battle, so it stayed on there. All things considered, it was never a big deal, but it introduced a certain electronic thing that didn't fit well. Axl had a tendency to do that from time to time, to bring it on the back end. Steven Adler seems to tell a different story about how the actual synthesizer ended up in Paradise City. In his book, he said Mike Klink had the idea to add a vintage Monk synthesizer to the beginning of Paradise City, and again, that ended up sounding great. Paradise City came on, and at the end of it, where I got my drum fill that sounds like a double bass, I noticed something different. I know I did the fill only once in the studio, but Slash had the idea to repeat it somehow. I asked him right then and there, and he admitted the idea came to him in the studio. The second fill is actually the first fill played backwards. I had always played it live on stage with just one fill, but it worked, and it was completely alright with me because I respected Slash's call. Slash also stated about how difficult it was recording some of the songs in Appetite for Destruction. So he said there was only two things I found difficult while recording my overdubs for Appetite. The first was the solo at the end of Paradise City, which was always easy live but wasn't in the studio. In concert, it could last anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes, but on the album version of the song, it was designed to be exactly 30 seconds. So it wasn't exactly easy for me to focus on the same narrative and emotion in 30 seconds, and when the red light came on, it threw me for a loop. I actually got gun shy. I remember going and edit a few times and getting so frustrated that I just left the studio completely disappointed. The next day, though, I came in fresh and nailed it. Duff has talked about the song in various interviews. In his own book, he said, as we developed songs, we put a lot of emphasis on anything that veered away from the main melody. We all felt that diverging from a good tune was only justifiable if the other part was just as good. That meant we rejected cookie-cutter songwriting that demanded bridges for bridges' sake and strictly delineated between verses and choruses. Instead, we only went places we felt really strongly about. There's a reason the codas in songs like Rocket Queen, Paradise City, or Patience sound so distinctive. We didn't feel compelled to add them. We were just so excited that certain ideas that working together day after day, we found ways to incorporate them. He also talked about the chords in Paradise City. So he said the chords to Paradise City, I wrote the chords for that song when I first moved to LA, when I didn't know anybody and was feeling a little down. So that kind of came out of reaching for something. If one person brings in a song to the band, it always gets raped by the other 4 people. It always gets changed around to where it is a Guns N' Roses as a group. He also said during those first rehearsals, the 5 of us started working up a new song together based on some lyrics I had brought in with me in a notebook from Seattle. The song became Paradise City, and it started to get in those few days before a Troubadour show, referring to the June 6, 1985 show, and the trip to Seattle, which was of course the Hell Tour. Now, Axl's talked about the song at great lengths as well. He said most of the harmonies and stuff I came up with, like It's So Easy in Paradise City, I came up with the night I was recording those parts because I never had the opportunity to work on it before. He was also asked about the mixing of Appetite for Destruction. He claimed that Paradise City could have been a little more clear. And he also talked a bit about the verses and the actual lyrics and the meaning behind the song. So he said the verses are more about being in the jungle. The choruses is like being back in the Midwest or somewhere. It reminds me of when I was a little kid and just looked up at the blue sky and went, wow, what is all this? It's so big out there. Everything was more innocent. There are parts of the song that have more of a down-home feel. And when I started putting the overlays on my vocals, I put 5 tracks on there. It seemed that it came out of some Irish or Scottish heritage. One of the weird things is I had a feeling that it would go over good in Europe. Finally, Axl said Paradise City is more about me and the streets. Duff wrote the first part of the chorus, Izzy wrote the second part, and Slash wrote the melody of the last half of the chorus. Now, I want to talk about some notable cover versions. There's a lot of people who've covered the song, but I think some interesting ones maybe you guys haven't seen are that Hole actually covered the song back in 1999 at the Big Day Out Festival, and we also had Carrie Underwood cover it at the CMAs in 2014, and Carrie Underwood's even talked about wanting to collaborate with Axl Rose because Guns N' Roses was a huge influence on her. So she was interviewed, and here's what she had to say about collaborating with Axl Rose. She said, I really want to sing with Axl Rose at some point in my life. She tells E! in a new interview, I've covered enough Guns N' Roses stuff, and it was people like him who taught me how to sing. Slash actually released a version of Paradise City when he was promoting a solo album back in 2010 that featured Fergie and Cypress Hill. And Slash has actually performed the song live with Cypress Hill and some of his Velvet Revolver bandmates back in 2003 on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. I've linked to both those videos down below. And Tom Cruise even covered the song in the film Rock of Ages, which came out in 2012, which is actually based on the Broadway musical. And it even prompted some people to compare his character Stacey Jacks in the film to having elements of Axl Rose, as was said by the film's director, who said that Tom's character has elements of Axl Rose, Keith Richards, and Bret Michaels. In 2011, it was reported that prior to filming the actual movie, Tom Cruise was training with Axl Rose vocal coach for the actual role. So according to the Wrap, Tom Cruise had actually spent almost 4 to 5 hours a day training with Axl Rose's voice teacher for his role in the film. And the song was most recently prominently featured in the trailers for Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. And not only is it prominently featured, but you can actually hear Axl's isolated vocal track played throughout the trailer as well. And the song was also prominently featured in the Electronic Arts video game Burnout Paradise, which came out back in 2008. One of the most notable live performances that Guns N' Roses have ever done of the song was at the 1992 Freddie Mercury tribute show. So it was actually one of 2 songs they played along with Knock on Heaven's Door, and it's one of my favorite performances of Paradise City. Now, Paradise City is one of Guns N' Roses' probably most well-known music videos, and the music video was actually filmed in 2 locations. One was Giant Stadium in New Jersey, while Guns N' Roses were on tour with Aerosmith, and then they also filmed it at the 1988 Monsters of Rock Festival at Donington Park. So McKagan is seen wearing an Aerosmith Wings logo t-shirt in the video as well. Nigel Dick directed the video, which cost about $200,000 to make, and the video was shot with 6 cameras in front of 77,000 people. Here's an MTV News report from around the time they were actually filming the Paradise City video while on tour with Aerosmith. Now, a demo of the song can actually be heard on YouTube as well. I've linked to the video on Gibbos' channel. And finally, let's close out our video for where this song ranks on the best to worst Guns N' Roses song list. Now, Spin.com, they were not as big of fans of the song as you might think. They ranked it as the 41st best Guns N' Roses song, which is about halfway on the list, because there's about 80 or so Guns N' Roses songs in total. And LAweekly.com, they were much bigger fans. They said it's the 6th best Guns N' Roses song. I'm more in line to agree with this list than I am to agree with the actual Spin.com list. So that does it for this episode of Guns N' Roses True Story. Let me know what your thoughts are on Paradise City. Comment down below and let me know where does it rank on your list. And be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this episode. And be sure to subscribe if you love Guns N' Roses. And if you guys love my channel and want to support it, you can go support me on Patreon and follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links to all my social media channels and Patreon page are down below in the description box. Thanks for watching, guys, and have yourself a good one.